Okay. I welcome you back to the continuation of this course, uh, Government Regulations on Media Law. Government Regulations on Media Law. So the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology oversees several components of online media, since they include network and digital what? Technology. So majorly publications, the theoretical film, television, and social media can be used to characterize as the media and entertainment sector. So the Ministry of Information and Broadcast supersedes all this sector. So it aids and maintains in its efforts by its subordinate titles, independent institutions, states, agencies, and government-owned businesses. And government what? Owned businesses. So we have the publications and press media. So the publishing media are governed by the information wings. So that has the license, uh, requirements and obligations of writers and editors of journals and textbooks, applying the press and registration of the book act license. So the press, we have the press and registration book act of 1867. British government enacted a press registration book in 1867, specifically to limit what something perceived to be the media part of something in 1857. But since it was simply application to English language publications, so it was clever implemented. So it is odd that other media gains are independent and so on and so forth. So we have the Press Council, we have the Central Media Accredited Committee. These are the people in charge, or the agencies that are in charge of the regulations. So what are other relative concerns? So the standard provides descriptions to public personnel to design what art, constitution, definition, or arms to democracy or integrity when determining to either cancel or revoke an author regulations. So we have the films, under the films, we have the Cinema Act of 1957 and so on and so forth. 1957, we have the digital media, we have the digital media, we have the Copy Act of 1957, we have broadcasting. Broadcasting has to do with the satellite of the station, we have so on and so forth. So let's quickly look at, I think we have considered enough for media law, fundamental of media law. But you know that we cannot talk about media law without touching media ethics. They move together. Can't talk about media law without talking about media ethics. So the ethical study is to subfield literature that aim to answer morality related concern by redefining words like positive and negative, correct or incorrect. So the discussion of digitalization, journalism, and morality focuses on the fundamental ethical standard in the internet world. So the mainstream press and the community since innovations have been the variety of the faith or how we conduct our daily lives. So our everyday lives are impacted by these social, economic, um, political information changes. So under this, we discuss about the technical ethical principles. Technical ethical principles. Technical ethics is a branch of philosophy that focuses on moral issues related to technical advancements along with its positivity, or possibilities, advantages, hazard, and restriction, as well as their direct or long-term implications for society. So it aims to um, comprehend and address the questions, moral questions raised by the creation of widespread use of physical and electronic words technologies. So under this, we discuss about the media ethics. Media ethics, among the various categories of ethics known as media ethics, is concerned with a particular rule as well as regulations that is journalism, such as the theater, movies, and television news, wise abide by completely addressing the ethical concern raised by technical advancement has been the aim of digital media standards, supporting and encouraging all principles and such regards for the light, legal them validity are part of media what ethics. So the main goal of media is to provide readers the complete news and data they need on topics of critical interest on the balance, factual, and decency conscious way. So ethic instructs us regarding how to regard and disseminate data to ensure the veracity of the media coverage and use terminologies which is appropriate for the communication or for the community together while bearing in mind how these changes will affect people. So journalism scandals are one of these instances. Why they may be unintentional or unadverted violence, commonly accepted standard of media ethics. So images and video can be changed. So although the media is expected to uphold nice ethical standard, this particularly never happened. Basic principle of media ethics include the authenticity and impartiality. Number two, media should respect people, privacy, because it can have a significant impact on their life. Number three is obligation to publicity, to publicly release the rejection of cost against or verdict of someone whose journals has already uh, originally published those costs are published, or that investigation has begun. So the authenticity and impartiality, it is the responsibility of the press never to broadcast any material that is false, since doing so will have a negative impact on general public across the board, since the press has a significant influence on how people think and behave. So number next is obligations not to broadcast controversial content. So ethics place emphasis on the press to not promote racial, ethnic, or other form of state news. Organization ought to address basic what decency norms. So the code of newspaper legal. So the role of newspaper ethics, ethical journalism in India, the number one code have occasionally been developed to reporters in their profession. We have the ANE code, free media could only service in democratic country. So the principle laid out is that the destination of absolute correct info has to be goal for reporters. So no information may be intentional, is presented. So it is presumed that all available research remarks are accurate. If accountability is denied, it will be made clear in the content. So every time confidentiality must be maintained. Every statement that is proof to the as well as any comments made about incorrect news must be willingly corrected. So whenever a news that was previously published is revealed to be erroneous or incorrect in significant detail, to be required to offer reasonable attention to a connection of disagreement. So journalists are not allowed to use their position for anything other than reporting. So reporters may prevent individual interests from influencing their work. So nothing is more dishonorable than a reporter to receive or demand payments in exchange for using his authority to grant or withhold exposure to information or comment. So the ability to accurately gather and disseminate information as well as the ability to voice opinion and make criticism. The fundamental rights that each and every reporter should hold. Reporter must be highly aware of their responsibility to their fellow members of the industry and must not try to use unjust measures to deny them a living. So press conference or press coverage of private disputes without reference to going legitimately to rumors or mindless scatter influences the private lives of other unethical. So we talk about the duties of press council. Their duties is ensuring that publications can continually to operate independently, to set high expectation for news that is consumed to or by the public, to keep an eyes out for any changes that could embed free movement of knowledge and news, create a journalistic code of conduct to ensure professional accountability, create a professional standard for media stand organization to uphold strict standard of professionalism, give skilled reporters' education. It promotes uh, technical and other news-related research fields. Power of the press council. So whenever publishers or reporters engage in unprofessional conduct or transgresses journalistic standard, editors or reporters may rise an issue to the Press Council of India. So it is Press Council responsibility to investigate any concern it gets. It can request copies of government documents and invite witnesses. So Press Council has the authority to give caution and condemn offenders. Excuse me. This includes journalists, newspapers, media agencies, and editors. Media and social responsibilities. A much wider definition of social duties is provided to ethical journalism. So the press is assumed to have specific obligation built into or space on them while reporting on evil throughout the world. Every time specific problems are published without considering the side, which would ensure that the issue of civic duty is brought to light. So every individual has rights to information. So media professional rights might present your own viewpoint when the news gets out. So theories of social responsibility is an idea that permits unrestricted media, and also requires that media content be debated in open forum, and that news organization assures any obligations from democratic oversight, self-awareness, and consciousness both. So sources is grant unlimited liberty on this one side, but external constraint on the other side. Concepts struggle the lines among agency agenda. So certain theories or Browning theories, the media in its instance is privately owned. The concept of social responsibility goes above straightforward news reporting to include in independent research, journalism, or investigating what reporting. So the Council of Press Freedom said that although the information is entirely factual and accurate, it's no longer delivering information simply instead of providing an essential analytical or external analysis on data with better reports. So that is how it works. So the theory permits that everybody is encouraged to comment and express themselves regarding the press, customer behavior, public opinions, and ethical standards. These are the theory permits. So grave violations of well-known individual rights crucial public interest, and so on and so forth. So the social responsibility concept has its critics. But one is to acknowledge public sentiment, help to permit confrontation in period of crisis war. So media is unable to exercise police since these public and media experts would challenge any inaccurate information that is released, transmitted, and manipulated by the press. So media norms may advance instead of concentrating on the current uh, societal role. Let's press will interest audience of all classes. So while the press may operate independently, the state as well, other public organization does have some responsibility in some matters, over some matters. So lack of specifications includes one, you must be accurate, thorough, and insights accounting the day is significant. A platform of a debate and share feedback, the presentation of images that accurately depicts um, displays the various social grouping make up society. Complete acceptability. It enables people to make an informed decision. It is important to ensure that almost all viewpoints are accurately reported. So when we talk about media trial, so its causes include youngsters that are so violent. So media trial have long tradition that dates back to 20th centuries, 20 what centuries. So these are the effects and themes and so on and so forth. So in conclusion, media serves as a vehicle. The media serves as a vehicle for providing information and disseminating information that are on current events, advancements, and occurrences of nationalism to the entire population. So now open and impartial media serves as the fundamental or foundation of a civilized society that is responsible of important individual thoughts and type his opinion about the state and authorities after carefully examining and published facts. So a subset of law known as media law is devoted to policing the press, including radio marketing and the television sector. I think it's one place. Huh? Huh? Talk now, I did class now. Eh? And it's after, it's to 5 now. Oh, it's after 4. is devoted to policing the press, including radio, marketing, and the television sector. So it is applicable to printing, broadcast, and most lately internet and online media. So surveillance of copyright, telecommunication may all fall under these broad categories. So, however, not all medias are subject to a similar legal restriction. For instance, when innovative systems are developed, social networking legislation continues to change and evolve. Also, the law governing the press varies across nations. So the Ministry of Information and Broadcast comprises or supervises all of these sectors. It is head and maintained in its efforts by subordinated titles, independent institution, state agencies, and government-owned businesses. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology oversees several components of online media, since they include network for digital what technology. So majorly publications, theater films, television, social media can be used to characterize as a media and entertainment sector over the world. So the press is assumed to have specific obligations built into the place, or that why reporting on media events throughout the world. So specifically, obligations to the committee is present. So every time specific problem are published without considering the caution which which would cause or ensure the issues of civil duty is brought to light. So every individual has the right to information. So the reporter is accountable for information disclosure. Although accountability is frequently described as expression of facilitation to liability duty, it's actually a recognized requirement for type of behavior inside the bones of duties and values. Come to the end of this class. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. My name is Mr. Zoka. Thank you.